Hey guys, what's up? It's King Christo here, and today I bring you my dream Coffee Lake PC build. If you are currently unaware, Intel recently released their 8th generation of CPUs, codenamed Coffee Lake, and for the first time in quite a while, these CPUs actually have a major benefit compared to the last generation. The new i7 CPUs now have 2 extra cores and 4 extra threads, allowing for much better multi-threaded workloads. Although this doesn't really benefit gaming all that much, it really benefits content creation, which was why I am very interested in these processors. Now, quick disclaimer, this PC part list was made by me and includes my personal preferences. It is not meant to be the absolute best price to performance. It is simply what I would want to build. Also, my favorite color scheme is gray and silver, so you will notice that throughout the build. Now, without further ado, let's check out this episode's components. Obviously, I went with the top dog processor brought to us by Coffee Lake, the i7-8700K. This processor has 6 cores and 12 threads, which is a great amount for content creation. It also is clocked at 3.7 GHz, but under load will automatically boost all cores up to 4.3 GHz, no overclocking needed. The CPU is crazy good IPC, beating the entire Ryzen 7 family in some multi-threaded workloads, even though it has less cores. It also is a great CPU for gaming. Even with the added cores, it still manages to beat the old king, the i7-7700K. It fits into an LG 1151 socket, although a motherboard with a Z370 chipset is necessary to run the CPU. Speaking of the motherboard, I chose the ASRock Z370 Tai Chi. This is an ATX motherboard that both looks awesome and has everything we need. I really like the look of the glowing gear on the front of the motherboard, and the overall design is awesome. This board also comes with great I/O, including 5 USB Type-A's and a USB Type-C port. Finally, the motherboard also includes antenna mounting, so you will not need to purchase a wireless network card separately in order to use Wi-Fi instead of Ethernet. All these features combined mean that the motherboard is decently future-proof, and we won't need to be upgrading anytime soon. To cool the CPU, I chose the Corsair H115i. This cooler is like the big brother to the famous H100i V2, sporting very similar internals, but a slightly larger radiator size at 280mm. It comes with two 140mm fans, but as you will see later, those will be replaced. It also comes with OK thermal paste, but for $12 I decided might as well upgrade that to some G-Lid Solutions GC Extreme. The cooler is compatible with Corsair links for software control, allowing you to customize the exact fan curves, which also allows you to find the perfect balance between noise and cooling. For memory, I chose 32GB of G-Skill Trident Z. 32GB seems to be the perfect ground for content creation and would game without any issues. This RAM is quite pricey, but for good reason. First off, the memory looks awesome, with the silver and black heat spreader easily blending in with all the other components in the case. Second off, the sheer specs of this RAM are magnificent. The RAM runs at 3200 MHz. This is some of the fastest RAM that would be commonly used in a mainstream system. It also has extremely low timings, with a cast latency of just 14. To be exact, the timings are 14-14-14-34. This specific die is also called Samsung B die, which gives tons of room for heavy memory overclocking if that is your thing. I then added a Samsung 960 Pro SSD for the boot drive. This drive connects via M.2 and supports NVMe speeds, so it is known as one of the fastest drives a consumer can buy. At 512GB, you can store plenty of commonly used applications on this drive. This will ensure super fast load times, and M.2 SSDs are very reliable. Also, once you install your operating system on this, your computer will boot up extremely fast, even compared to a SATA SSD. Because it is M.2, you also will not need to use a SATA data or SATA power cable for this drive as well, meaning that cable management will be that much easier. For mass storage, I chose two 4TB hard drives by Western Digital. Specifically, I chose the Caviar Black, as these drives have a great reputation for decent speeds and tons of reliability. If you're wondering, these drives have 128 MB of cache and run at 7200 RPM, and I would never run out of 8 TB worth of storage. For the graphics card, I could not choose less than a GTX 1080 Ti. Specifically, I chose the EVGA GeForce GTX 1080 Ti for the Win 3 Hybrid. This 1080 Ti uses both an all-in-one water cooling loop and a fan on the card to cool, giving optimal performance even under load. The 1080 Ti would play most games at 4K 60 FPS, but really, that is not what I'm going after for this build. The largest thing is that the 1080 Ti would make render times so fast making production of content a breeze, especially if I was editing at just 1080p. The card also has a DVI port, 3 display ports, and 1 HDMI port for video output. I then added the Phanteks P400S Tempered Glass Edition for the case. This case has just about everything I could think I need. First off, it supports both of our radiators in the build, a 280mm up front and a 120mm in the back. It also has a tempered glass side panel and comes with an RGB light strip, so we will be able to see easily into the build. It also has dust filters for all openings, so the system inside should stay nice and clean. Finally, the case comes with an LED and fan controller. Now, I also added 4 140mm white Corsair ML fans, 2 in the front and 2 on the top, as well as a single 120mm Corsair ML fan for the rear exhaust. To power everything, the Corsair RM1000i power supply would do a great job. The build would only use 560 watts under load, so the PSU would be able to run at peak efficiency. It comes with all black cables and is fully modular, meaning cable management will be really easy and look decent. The 80+ Gold certification also indicates that the PSU will not be taking wattage from the wall that it does not need to. I chose Windows 10 Pro for the operating system. Finally, for peripherals, I chose 2 LED IPS 1080p monitors that connect via DisplayPort. These specs are optimal for content creation, and there are 3 DisplayPort outputs on the graphics cards. I also chose the Logitech G610 wired keyboard. These have Cherry MX brown switches, which are optimal for typing, and it looks very simplistic with white backlighting. The Logitech Master 2S mouse is known as one of the best for content creation, and feels very comfortable in the hand, so I chose that as well as an extended gray mouse pad. Finally, I chose the Logitech Z333 speakers for audio in this setup. That concludes the entire build. The cost of the build comes to a couple $100 less than $4K. Overall, I think that the recent competition with AMD has led to Intel to start making much better processors again, which is always awesome for the consumer. My Discord server will be linked below if you have any questions, and my Patreon will be as well if you'd like to help support the channel. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and comment that you did. If you're interested in the channel, feel free to subscribe. Now this is King Christo signing off, and peace out.